Welcome back to the channel. So today's upload is going to be talking about something pretty specific, which is going to be settings to try out on your Sony OLED for Dolby Vision titles from your Apple TV 4K. So let's begin with the settings on the actual Apple TV 4K here. So we're going to go down to video and audio, and for format, make sure it's 4K SDR. I'm going to talk about a little bit later on about why it's set up that way. HDMI output and chroma, these are subjective. There's some intel out there that you could set this at RGB high and it looks better. I tend to keep this as it came. Chroma, set that to 444. As you can see down there at the bottom, it does say it improves clarity as long as you have air quotes high-speed cables. Match content, this is going to be very important to this, so make sure both of these are set to on. The match dynamic range is the most important part. If you go into Netflix and you see it says it's a Dolby Vision title or HDR title or Ultimate 4K or whatever it is, what this will do is if you have this set to on, no matter what range format is the title of the movie, it'll go ahead and match it. So you don't have to worry about changing your settings or toggling some sort of setting every time you want to play a Dolby Vision movie versus an HDR10 movie. Match frame rate, this is hit or miss. I've had my problems over the past year or so. Sometimes I have to have this off, sometimes I have to have it on. I prefer to keep it on, but there are certain things about having this particular setting on that can create problems for you. I'll give you a prime example. If you're watching a YouTube video and you have this match frame rate on, depending on the frame rate of the video you're trying to watch, whenever you press play, it's going to go to a black screen for 2, 3, 4 seconds and then eventually start playing the video. That's really annoying to me. You come back in, you disable this thing, you go back, play the same video, and it plays perfectly. It just instantly starts playing. So let's get back out of that. That's a tangent for another video. The rest of these don't really need to do too much with. Audio output, I have some other videos on my channel where I've certainly had my battles with the Apple TV 4K device and getting Atmos to become available through my audio system. That's not the case. This is on my Sony OLED, so no issues here with this. But let's go ahead and back out to the home screen, and I'm going to press the display button on the Sony remote. You can see down there at the bottom, you don't see anything about HDR10 or Dolby Vision. Press the back button, and I already have a movie here, Netflix, queued up. It's The Gray Man. It's a Dolby Vision and a Dolby Atmos title. I have it paused here because I don't want to get flagged for this, but the reason why we're in here is we're going to go into the Sony settings now, and you can see down here it's automatically changed it to Dolby Vision Bright. Let's go into the picture settings and let's go through this real quick. So light sensor, make sure that's off. Okay, brightness. So in brightness, you're not going to do a whole lot here. That's the beauty of the Sony TVs, is that you don't have to make a lot of significant changes to get a beautiful image. So these came with, you can see the HDR flag up there in the top right hand corner. On this one, you'll see brightness max, contrast max, leave those the same. Gamma, there's a weird bug with Sony TVs where it has this down here at -2 as the setting that you should be using, but in all actuality, that should be up here at 0. HDR tone mapping, leave this off. You want to know why? Let me show you. Gradation preferred, this is a solid choice, but you could see, I hope you could see on camera, it made the image much darker. So here's brightness preferred. If you're in a very bright room with a lot of windows and you're trying to watch a movie like this, you might consider having brightness preferred on. But as I go back down through here, I have this off. When you check on gradation preferred, notice how much dimmer the image gets. And then of course, brightness preferred really brightens it up. But I would stick to off if possible. Black level, 50, leave that. Black adjust, advanced contrast enhancer. Black adjust, don't do anything with that. Let's check out the advanced contrast enhancer. So it's gonna do what you probably would imagine here. As you crank this up towards high, the image gets significantly brighter. But the downside to that is you're going to start blowing out the highlights. Yeah, the whole image gets brighter, but those particular highlights, like you see in the fireworks, are going to become really blown out. So I tend to leave this off, as I feel like it's a good balance as it is. Peak luminance, leave that on high. Color, subjective territory here, but I'm going to go through it anyway. Expert one's going to get you the most accurate image, so I tend to go there. If you want something that's looks a little bit brighter, maybe a little more blue tint, comes out at neutral, you can go neutral or obviously cool. But for movie watching especially, I tend to leave this in Expert 1. Live color off. Let me do this real quick because I know it's getting ready to... Okay. Live color, that's off. Again, if you're somebody who values accuracy, you're going to leave this off. Clarity comes out at 50. Leave that. Reality creation. Oops. Let's try this again. Reality creation. Subjective thing here. I have this on manual in 20. I haven't made any changes to it. If this is something that you really don't want to mess with at all, your safest bet is probably to have this on auto. That way the TV can just take care of this for you. But you have the option to go into manual and then make changes here based on where you see fit. Noise reductions, don't do anything there. You're watching high quality content, that's not going to be necessary. Smooth gradation, if you're worried about that posturization and sky shots like you see on the image there that they use an example, if you're worried about seeing some sort of lines through the sky, you can have this on all the way up to high. I keep it on low, that way it has a little bit of gradation processing in it, but not too much. Motion, probably going to be the most subjective thing. For me, I like just a hint, and I mean a small hint, of soap opera effect. And by enabling custom and going to smoothness 2 and clearness at minimum, you're going to have the slightest amount of soap opera effect. Not a ton, just a little bit. Now, as soon as you move this clearness up, you start moving this to 1 and as so on, the soap opera effect comes on a lot stronger, and you notice the image gets a lot darker too. So Cinemotion, I keep that down here at low. This is also going to have effect on that soap opera effect. Keeping it at low tends to keep things at a minimum when it comes to soap opera effect. Video signal, you don't need to do anything here. Just keep these at auto. And advanced color adjustment, don't need to go there. So again, this was just kind of a walkthrough of if you just got an Apple TV 4K and you're going to be watching a lot of Netflix, especially Dolby Vision titles. Well, I have a Sony TV and I have an Apple TV 4K. What are some settings to try out to get a nice looking image for movies? There you have it. Try these out. But, I'd be curious to know if you try these settings out, let me know how you feel about them. I always like reading the comments where somebody tries my settings. And if you have some critiques for the settings that I've chosen, let me know what those are. I'm always open to feedback and learning new things. So my settings are not a one-size-fits-all sort of thing. They're my preference as far as the content I'm watching and the way I like the way they look, but you might not. So leave a comment below on how yours is set up. And, as we flash back to the screen here. So now you can see it shows it up there, Dolby Vision and Dolby Atmos. So again, appreciate you watching. If this is your first time stopping by the channel and you're still around, consider hitting that subscribe button with the bell notification, as I do a lot of uploads in similar sort of format here. And if you like anything about the video at all, drop a like on it. Really helps out the visibility of the videos in the channel. Thanks for watching.